Imagine a hypothetical situation where there's an angry mob threatening to rampage through a city, and there are two different officials who address the mob. And the first official says, "Please, please don't loot. Please be kind. Think of your neighbors. Please, this solves nothing." And the second official says, "Listen, y'all, we're bringing in the heavy artillery tonight. You're not going to be allowed on the street. They're going to have serious consequences. If we see you out, we're not messing around." Which of those two officials is inciting violence? The initial protests this week in Minneapolis were legit. It was well within reason for concerned citizens of that city to gather together peaceably in the public square and register their grief and objection to what clearly appeared to be excessive force by the officers involved. Bad cops should face justice. Any public official who abuses their authority should face justice. And there is a process for that, due process. We live in a land of due process. When a suspect dies in police custody, an investigation is called for, and investigations take time. It is not up to a mob to deliver justice, nor is it up to a mob to determine the timetable upon which justice is delivered. That is why we have a government in the first place. We give our government the sole authority to adjudicate disputes so that vigilantes and angry mobs do not take justice into their own hands. If vigilantes and angry mobs are allowed to take justice into their own hands, then say goodbye to civilization. Say goodbye to everything you cherish. If an initially legitimate protest crosses the line into destruction and violence, it has ceased at that moment to be legitimate. It is now mob rule. It is now terrorism. When things descend into terrorism, everyone loses. Mobs by nature are driven by emotion, and things tend to snowball once they get going. And for the common good, even for the good of the mob itself, it is very important to arrest that snowballing process. It is very important to nip it in the bud. Never, ever, ever give in to terrorism. Never let an angry mob dictate the terms, regardless of why they may have been protesting in the first place. When a protest crosses over into terrorism, the only thing that matters is the breaking up of the mob and the restoration of public order. If Rudy Giuliani had been mayor of Minneapolis this week, you can rest assured that that riot wouldn't have lasted longer than 20 minutes, because Rudy Giuliani understood the supreme value of public order. Imagine a hypothetical situation where there's an angry mob threatening to rampage through a city, and there are two different officials who address the mob. And the first official says, "Please, please don't loot. Please be kind. Think of your neighbors. Please, this solves nothing." And the second official says, "Listen, y'all, we're bringing in the heavy artillery tonight. You're not going to be allowed on the street. They're going to have serious consequences. If we see you out, we're not messing around." Which of those two officials is inciting violence? Clearly the first one. By showing weakness, by pleading with the terrorists, you are abetting terrorism. Never plead or attempt to negotiate with an angry mob. It only encourages more terrorism. Come down hard on them with the full force of the law and with every tool at your disposal, and let them know that you mean it. That is how responsible leaders respond to rioting mobs. Firmness is compassion. Weakness is cruelty. For Lou McCarta Productions, I'm Andrew Maxwell. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the Lou McCarta YouTube channel and check out my blog at loumacarta.wordpress.com.